Rich Off Life TV presents Rich Off Life Live with Yana G.
It's punch. I feel good. You smell that? That's success. This is what success feel like. Get close to it. Understand. This is it. Rich Off Life. This is what it is. Ooh.
What's up, man? G Herbo, reporting live in New York, about to rock out the stage, and I'm officially Rich Off Life.
Rich Off Life, you know what I'm saying? SSC, shout out Rich Off Life, the experience, lit, we turned up, you already know.
Yes, you know what it is. Hot 97's Hip Hop. It's only right that I show love to Rich Off Life TV. You know, they always supporting the show. I gotta support them. You know, that's the love, inspiration, fashion, entertainment, news, all that. Gotta check them out.
I'm Rich Off Life.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Rich Off Life. Yeah, I got hustle. I'm Rich Off Life.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're gonna start this interview. Is he tuned in? Tuned in?
Hey, what's going on?
This is long overdue.
Facts.
How are you? Everyone that's joined in, give a warm welcome to Jeremiah Brown, very close friend of mine who inspired me from day one. And we're going to go ahead and get into your story and dig deep on how you became so successful today, okay?
Appreciate that. Thank you for having me.
No problem. First and foremost, how's your family and everyone doing during this time?
Through the grace of God, we are well. You know, I think during this time, for me, it was like a shock that just came out of nowhere, you know, and the first week of COVID-19, I don't want to do anything, you know what I mean? I was at home, just not wanting to do things, just afraid to go out, touch things. You know, my mom, she spent a great deal in the hospital last year.
Wow.
Story issues, so you know she's well, you know, but
Good.
of course afraid that you know her getting outside. She's a year from retiring, you know, so anxiety. To the grace of God, we are all well. My family down south in Louisiana, so all is well. How about yourself?
That's good. That's good. And what measures exactly are you taking to make sure that you guys are safe?
Oh man, so you know, got the mask on, got the gloves ready, hand sanitizer. I think, you know, I have to just remind myself that this is real. I think because we're in like week 6 and 7, you know, as like attention to detail that I was like week 1 and week 2 when the news was crazy, you know, I'm like, oh man, I left the house and forgot my mask. So just little things, just making sure that before I leave the house, I have my mask on, have some hand sanitizer, and just keeping that social distance. But you know, me and the fam, we have to take walks. You know, we got a 1-bedroom, so you know it's nice, has amenities, but the space, you know, we got a little 3-year-old running around, and you know, the space, so we try to get out as much as possible.
You know what's funny, because I thought about your son. One day I saw a video of it's a guy that's going around going viral. His son is playing doctor. And I thought about your son. I'm like, oh my gosh, I remember one day you posted something. I mean, it didn't necessarily go viral, but news like that and stuff like that is what I love to see. Black males taking care of their children and showing them the right way. So I always admired you for that.
Thank you.
And I had a question, because I know we know a little bit about your story, but like growing up, explain, because you know we went to junior high school together, and if a teacher ever asked you at that age, what do you want to be when you grow up? Have you imagined this right now?
I mean, that's a phenomenal question because it is part of the inspiration behind Lead and everything that I do, my mission, purpose in life, as it relates to student development. You know, I asked this question to the kids that I work with, you know what I mean? And I remember, you know, getting asked this question of like, where do you see yourself 10 years from now, or where do you see yourself in the future? And I would have never said it. I know you cannot quote me ever say that I wanted to go to the NFL, nor did I ever play, football at that time, because I started playing football in high school. So, for me, it was just like, I knew I just wanted to get my mother, out of the struggle. I just
Right.
felt like I was tired of like going home and, seeing my mother like, doing everything possible to just put food on the table and like pay the bills. So for me, it wasn't really a question of like where I wanted to go. It was more of like, I just know I need to get somewhere that's gonna just help me support my family, and I've been blessed to do that. Just with how God has led the way, for real.
So let's rewind, right? Let's fast forward a little bit from your childhood and let's rewind to the time when you got that call to be selected to play for the Jaguars, Jacksonville Jaguars. What was that moment like exactly when you got that call?
The moment was crazy. I was at my mother-in-law, who's my mother-in-law now, of course. I was at their home, and I just remember, the draft was over. I didn't necessarily get drafted, so I think for myself, it was a gut check moment where it was like, man, I worked so hard for this moment, and my number didn't get called, due to just previous injuries, politics of being undersized, coming from a small school. Where have you, and my name didn't get called, so I just remember just like looking at my girlfriend at the time, who's my wife now, and just like, man, I don't know. And next thing you know, the Jaguars called, the Dolphins called, the Buffalo Bills, and the Rams called, and I just remember like getting off the phone with them and not knowing who to initially sign an undrafted deal with. And I called my agent and I'm like, hey, where do you think I should go? And he was like, we've already established where we're going. If this situation came up, and I ended up going with the Jaguars, signing with the Jaguars because I felt like it was the best fit for me and my family. It's something that I talk to my student athletes about all the time when I recommend historically Black colleges, and just like removing them from their comfort zone and putting them in an environment that's gonna like inspire them to just want more and be more. So like I said, Jacksonville wasn't like Miami, wasn't like LA, where there are a bunch of like different, distractions. There's not much in Jacksonville.
Right, to do, but to work hard.
Yes.
And during those moments, those first, months of you training and preparing to play during the season, was there ever a time you felt like giving up? I remember getting a phone call from you, and I was thinking about you, and I'm like, and you seemed really stressed, and I'm like, I pray that he's good, because I know it's really, really tough. So tell me about that moment when you felt like, if you ever felt like you wanted to give up.
I think for me, there wasn't necessarily a moment where en route to getting there. I think it was just more of like when I was forced to retire, and I got injured, right? So I'm in the league, I'm living my dreams, and I'm like on cloud nine, everybody's showing love, and then like, boom, for me it was like a nightmare turned into a dream, turned into a nightmare, where it's like, the phone calls and everybody stopped showing as much love, and I'm just sitting there at home looking at myself in the mirror like, yo, who am I? Like, what am I gonna do? I have this money. It's not forever money, but I have something to like just jumpstart my life and put myself in position to be great, right? And so it was, I wouldn't necessarily say quitting, just more so like, okay, now that the game is over, who am I? What am I gonna do?
Right.
What am I gonna be? Like, what's my purpose outside of the sport? And it was challenging, and that has also led to me just falling forward into my gift and just my purpose of what I do now.
Right, and that's the perfect segue, because that was like the next question. We here, Jay. So, you started and you founded and created such I would say a prestige company because you've gained knowledge from the New York Knicks and they gave you sponsorships and stuff like that. I'm not sure exactly how that came about, but I definitely promoted it and showed love on Ritual Life, like I always. So tell us about Lead, and you told us how you started it, coming from that background, but let's talk about what is pushing you forward to keep, with your business.
So for Lead, it was something that just kind of came just organically. I say I've been doing this, this work, ever since I stopped playing, right? So when I stopped playing in the NFL, I transitioned into working in the Department of Education. And there, I was the youngest athletic director in the state of New York at one point. I thought, like, okay, this is it. Like, I'm an athletic director. I'm the youngest, making change. But I always felt that, the DOE as a whole had control over my gifts. How many student athletes I could work with, what time I do it. So for me, it was just a conflict of interest where it was like I know I have, a lot to offer the youth in terms of serving them, in terms of like giving them the tools that they would need to be successful in their sport, but more importantly, as they transition out of the world of sports. So how can I do this so that, I can serve the kids in my school, but also be of influence and serve kids essentially all throughout the world. That's just how my brain works.
Right.
As of now, just, starting in my community, started in Brooklyn, started in New York City. And, so the mission of my company, we are a student athlete development company where, the mission is to, uplift and inspire, but most importantly, equip student athletes with the necessary tools to be successful, during their playing career, but more importantly, as they transition out of sports. And we that's extremely important because, not only in our low socioeconomical, communities, but our communities of privilege where if you are an athlete or an elite athlete, you pretty much give your all to this sport. And that's great, right? You find something you love and you give it your all, you make the sacrifices. It's amazing. I think the problem is, right, you become one-dimensional. And, I don't use the language of, you're not going to make it because the numbers. I say, what happens if you do make it? Right? What happens if you make it to the NFL or the NBA? Then what? Who are you when the game is over?
Right.
And a lot of times, kids, they can't answer it. I feel like it's my duty, my obligation to help bridge that gap, and we don't know, we don't know.
And during this pandemic, right, I think a lot of the student athletes now are probably really feeling maybe how you felt when it was taken away from you at that point when you had to retire. Because right now, it's nothing really for them to do because it's social distancing. So is there any advice you can give to student athletes out there now how to, keep pushing during this pandemic?
I mean, that's a phenomenal question.
So, wait, okay, you said, the last thing you said was, that was a phenomenal question. That's all I heard.
No. Yeah, it cut off for a second. Phenomenal question. For me, this pandemic, and if we could record this, if we can, this is super important for your little bro, any student athlete to just hear what I say when I say that this pandemic is, your future, right? And I say it in a way where, I say it in a way where not more so of unfortunate, we losing the lives of so many special individuals. I say that this pandemic is your future if you are a student athlete, right? And I'm talking about if you are elite, if you make it to the pros, if you don't, there's gonna be a time where you're gonna be home, and you're the ball. There's no more games. There's the season's over. You played your last high school game, your last college game, your last professional game, and now you're at home and you're looking in the mirror and you don't know what to do. You don't know who you are, and unfortunately, due to COVID-19, that is where majority of student athletes are. They're at home. You know, they took the rims off the basketball court, so you can't play ball really unless you are of privilege and you have a basketball court in your
Right.
Most of us don't. And you're at home, you know, you're doing your Google Classroom and you're trying to figure out, like, how can I get better? How can I compete? But because you cannot do that, you're lost, right? You're bored, right? You're stuck, right? So I really want, you know, just the youth to understand that this time, like, I wish, let me go back. I don't wish a COVID-19 happened when I was younger. I would never wish that. But I would say that I wish there was a time like the present where I was forced to be home, right? And just literally sit around and say, like, yo, what do I do? Like,
Have no choice but to focus and fix yourself.
Right. So in the beginning of this, it was extremely important for me and my team to, like, put out there just content of, like, young, you know, boys and girls, highlighting them in them operating in their gifts outside their sport. Right. So like, yes, they love basketball, they love football, but, like, you cannot compete right now. So what are you doing? Right. So I have student athletes doing the drums, student athletes, you know, work weekend, like, you know, this is, like, super important for, like, you know, your little bro, like, any student athlete to just hear what I say when I say that this pandemic is, you know, your future, right? And then I say it in a way where, you know, and I say it in a way where not more so of, you know, unfortunate, you know, we losing the lives of so many special individuals. I say that this pandemic is your future if you are a student athlete, right? And I'm talking about if you are elite, if you make it to the pros, if you don't, you know, there's going to be a time where you're going to be home and there's no more games. There's the season's over. You played your last high school game, your last college game, your last professional game, and now you're at home and you're looking in the mirror and you don't know what to do. You don't know who you are. And unfortunately, due to COVID-19, that is where majority of student athletes are. They're at home. You know, they took the rims off the basketball court, so you can't play ball really unless you are of privilege and you have a basketball court in your Most of us don't. And you're at home. You know, you're doing your Google Classroom and you're trying to figure out, like, how can I get better? How can I compete? But because you cannot do that, you're lost. Right, you're bored, right, you're stuck, right? So I really want, you know, just the youth to understand that this time, like, I wish, let me go back. I don't wish a COVID-19 happened when I was younger. I would never wish that. But I would say that I wish there was a time like the present where I was forced to be home, right? And just literally sit around and say, like, yo, what do I do? Like,
have no choice but to focus and fix yourself.
Right. So in the beginning of this, it was extremely important for me and my team to, like, put out there just content of, like, young, you know, boys and girls, highlighting them in them operating in their gifts outside their sport. Right. So like, yes, they love basketball, they love football, but, like, you cannot compete right now. So what are you doing? Right. So I have student athletes doing the drums, student athletes, you know, working on their proposals for, like, who, you know, internships. So it's just like, man, I just can't stress that enough because in 2000,
or even just simply working out and building your craft, like building your body.
For a fact.
This is what it took for me to get back in it, JB Fit, because you started me with this fitness. I know a lot from learning and sacrifice and all the sacrifice I had to put to the side to get that result. And results came. I'm just so mad at myself for letting it come back. I'm motivated, and I always go back to my notes, my emails. I'm like, all right, I gotta go ahead and get this JB Fit in, even if I'm with him physically, but you motivated me to even do that. So a lot of the stuff that you taught me is still instilled in me. So I can't just sit around and be like, I'm not gonna work out because I know what I got to do.
100%. No, you're absolutely right.
And any advice before, because I have a trivia, we got some trivia questions for you, to make it a little fun. But any advice you have for the graduating class of 2020?
My advice for the graduating class of 2020 is, use this as an opportunity to really figure out who you are and what it is that you want to accomplish. I think the world is on pause, and wish a COVID-19 happened when I was younger. I would never wish that. But I would say that I wish there was a time like the present where I was forced to be home, right? And just literally sit around and say like, yo, what do I do? Like,
Have no choice but to focus and figure.
So I'm not gonna sit here and try to paint a perfect picture, but I will say that there's a seed that's been planted inside of you, and it's up to you to nurture it, surround yourself with the right environment and people, so that you bloom into what you were destined to become.
Right. So where can people follow Lead Athletics? How can we follow you if they want to get one of their children to be a part of your program?
Yeah, so we're actually in the rebranding process, during this time, looking to have a more online platform, so we have, some online courses coming out. The Lead app is going to drop later this year. Excuse me. And just a few other opportunities. So our website is taketheleadllc.com. Where you'll be able to sign up for sports performance training. So outside of the interpersonal skill development, we of course do sports performance training, which we train all athletes from elementary all the way to college and the pros. And you can follow us on Instagram at the Lead Athletics LLC. And yeah, that's about it.
Okay, good. So make sure they follow Lead Athletics, the Lead Athletics, right?
The Lead Athletics, yeah.
And on Instagram is the Lead Athletics. That's why I keep saying it like that. So let's get into trivia with Ritual Flight. Usually I do music trivia, but because I'm dealing with someone that's so familiar with sports, I'm hoping that you don't embarrass yourself out here, Jay.
I'm straight up.
All right, cool. So, if you weren't watching the celebrity news segment, we did mention that a New York Knicks legend recently contracted the COVID-19 virus. Who is that?
Man, my heart and prayers, go out to, the Patrick Ewing family.
Yeah.
It's unfortunate that, but just to see how positive he is, and just everyone that, this is a serious case. My heart definitely goes out to him and his family.
Yeah, because he posted on Twitter and he was open about it. He had to be hospitalized, and he was kind of a little positive during this time. Some people would just want to stray away, not even speak to anyone about what's going on because they're so in their own feelings about what's going on to them. So prayers do go out to Patrick Ewing and his family, and you did get it correct. So thank you for staying tuned. I got two more questions though. It's not over yet. In what year, right? I know it's dealing with basketball, but I know when you was working with the DOE, you was assistant coaching and coaching basketball team, so maybe you would know this. In what year did LeBron James say, "I am taking my talents to South Beach and joining the Miami Heat"? What year was that? When he took his talents to South Beach. That was a big moment, Jay.
That was. I'm gonna say 2000 and
Wait. Let's see anybody in the comments got something to say. What year, guys?
oh.
What year? That's not a lot of work. Let's see what year. Let's see. First person. Let's see. Nobody. Don't go looking it up on your phone. I caught you today. All right. So what year? Since you looked it up.
I didn't look. I was trying to, but you got.
2010.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2011, but
that was close. But I wouldn't have known that unless I looked it up because I didn't know what to ask any trivia questions. I don't really know much about sports myself. But this one I think is pretty interesting because I'm not sure if when you do get drafted that they train you on just the history of the NFL. But who was the first player ever to be drafted in the NFL in 1936? The first player ever to be drafted, like the first name they ever stated during the NFL draft.
That's whatever we figure out the answer to be. That's I have no idea. I want to say Joe Namath, but
well, that's crazy because the name starts with a J. Jay Berwinger.
Wow, that's history for me.
And he was originally drafted by Philadelphia, but his rights were sold to the Bears. His coach at the time was George Halas. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing it right. But his asking price was $25,000 for 2 seasons. And he never signed the contract. Oh, wow. He never signed, so he didn't even get a chance to play.
Wow.
He said it was too low, and then he died of lung cancer in 2002. That's just the stuff I just found out about him. But I didn't know that there was like a first draft ever. I'm just thinking of this. So thank you so much for playing with us. Thank you for tuning in. Your words are always extremely inspirational. I hope a lot of people that was tuned in learned something. Is there anything you want to say to go out on this live?
Shout out to my team. You know what I mean? Just the team of people, behind me, up. We're a small team, but when I tell people that we're closing in on just our second year of operation, people are like, wow, you guys have done a lot of things, and this check behind me is just like a constant reminder. Team are just like we're on the right track. We just have to stay the course. So I just appreciate those on my team, and those
we can talk about that a little bit more because I know there's no company.
No, not at all.
I know we got a little more viewers in. There's no company, there's no business, there's no Rich of Life, there's no Yana without a team of people. Everybody needs a team of people. So tell us about your team and how did you come about creating that?
Man, I mean, just God. God is, whew, just when I look at my life and just how everything has flown, God, we have all of this, behind me and just like this lead across my chest. So first and foremost, my wife, she just, she's the person who keeps it real with me. You know what I mean? She tell me like I don't like how that looks. At first I'm like, babe, you hating, but like she not hating. She just really giving me what I need. And I really, really appreciate that. Rashad, we went to junior high school together.
Yes.
How that happened was like super organic. He's in grad school at Delaware State University. He's like the strength and conditioning coach of the athletic program. And we on the phone one day and he's like, yo, bro, like I want to bring this back to New York City. And I'm like, yo, first I got to get you in the DOE. And second, I need you to help me build this company. And
wow. So then you got him to work in the DOE. Did you like refer him?
You know, yeah, you know, there are a lot of people over the years who were like, yo, can you get me in? And you know, when you refer someone, your name is attached to them. You know what I mean? And you know firsthand my relationship with Rashad, and
Right.
just be consistent over the years.
That's so dope. I'm so happy for you.
It's been a blessing to have him on my team, and then Coach Adeline, you know, she's my program director. You know, she's phenomenal just in her ability to just like be selfless and just like get the job done no matter what. You know, my curriculum development, Kim, she's phenomenal. The name of her organization, I believe, is Innovative Consultant. She's like, if you ever need your education program to get to the next level, Kim is phenomenal. And then Sean, my videographer, my marketing team.
Yes, because you do so good at that.
Thank you. I'm just blessed to just have a great team. So when people look at the brand and they like, yo, Jay, I'm impressed. Like, I like what I see. That's a reflection of, you know, my wife telling me what looks good, what doesn't.
Your team.
My team overall. And so I'm blessed to have them to work with.
Dope. I'm in the mood of giving, right? So I have T-shirts. Do you know anyone per se that's tuned in right now who you think?
So Jay, I've never gone live, so I don't know where. So how do we figure out who's tuned in?
Okay. So these are the names. These are the names here. You scroll. I'm not sure if you can see it, but. Or if you have any student of yours, anyone that stood out to you that you learned from the most, that was maybe like a struggle to work with because they were maybe hard to work with, but you've seen the progress and the success come out that student. Maybe one person, I don't know, who could you think of that you would?
Well, from what I'm seeing right now, let me see.
I see Coach V Models.
Okay, let's see.
It's a coach. I'm assuming
that's she's dope. I follow. I don't know her personally.
Okay.
She's doing great work within the community. Gian, shout out to Gian. I was on her podcast yesterday. Very Not Sorry. She's phenomenal. She's doing great work. I think you guys could definitely collab in some way, just in terms of like the work that she's doing. So yeah, I'm really trying to like look through this, but
that's perfect. That sounds perfect enough. And I'm also gonna send you one as well.
Yeah, I got you.
No problem.
As well.
So I want you to send me her information in my DM. Like, just send me her like Instagram name, and then I'll like reach out to her, get her address and stuff, and send her over a shirt. But thank you so much.
No, I appreciate you.
Over how many years of friendship?
Man, she's talking about 2001, 2002. Is that right?
I can do the math right now. That's 18, 19, almost 20.
I mean, I love, you know, you know what you're about, and you know everything you've done from like when it was a seed to like I remember the conversation of like, yo, I'm trying to do this, and I was like, yo, it's possible, and I'm like, I'm trying to do this. The growth is phenomenal. But tell little bro, we need him in the mentorship program.
Yes.
In the mentorship program. I know he's probably at home trying to figure out how he gonna, you know, make his dreams a reality. Please tell me. You know, so we are launching our online course in the fall, but we're going to do beta testing, and I would love for him to be a part of our beta testing group as we like really work to perfect this. So yes, got to get little bro.
Yes, reach out to me. He's got my brother's information as well. We gonna do this. He probably home playing Fortnite right now. Tell him to get his butt up and work out. My mother's like his big supporter, so she be pushing him, but he's a gamer. That's his thing. As long as he's not in the streets, I'm good with that.
No, that's a fact. That's a fact. That is.
Thank you so much, Jay. I love you. Dope vibe.
Yes.
Later. Good night. Wait, you gotta say you're officially Rich Off Life.
Officially Rich Off Life. Yes, officially.
I'm Jeremiah Brown.
I'm Jeremiah Brown, and I'm officially Rich Off Life.
Thank you, Jay.
Already.
All right. Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
I'm rich all life.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm rich all life. Yeah, I got the hustle. I'm rich all life.
Okay.
Yeah.